Okay, so we got Tan here. Tan started the program with us maybe 3, 4 months ago, was it?
It was in December, yeah,
In
around there.
December, yeah, about 4 or 5 months ago now. And he's got three properties in his portfolio, and you made $9,000 profit in January. Is that right?
Actually, it was a little more than that. I'd say like around 11,000 in January.
11,000 in
Yeah.
January. That's awesome. Summer season went
Yeah,
crazy.
summer season was real good. New Year's and all that.
That's awesome. So just introduce yourself first, and what was your situation before working with us?
So before this, I was still in uni. I'm still am in uni. I'm studying data science at RMIT, and then I was working at a call center for like an energy solutions company 5 days a week, and then I transitioned into a cybersecurity company and doing an internship there, and then that's when I moved into the Airbnb business afterwards. So near the end of the year.
Right. And that internship that you had, is that correlated with your degree?
Sort of, kind of, yeah, it was applicable.
Awesome. How much money were you making at those jobs?
So call center, it was 30 an hour plus commissions where it was around extra 400 a month on top of that. And then the internship was a little lower, it was around like 25 an hour for that.
I see. So tell me, outside of these jobs, what did you try anything else? Were there any other business ventures that you tried?
Ooh, so I did try to get to some other ventures, tried looking into different things. Played around with digital products a little bit, tried that for a couple of months. So that's like sort of selling artwork and templates and whatnot.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I did that for a bit, but didn't really work out. And then I tried doing some drop shipping, looking into that, but yeah, it was just too difficult to wrap my head around.
What makes you say it didn't really work out? What was wrong with digital products and Etsy?
So when I was doing Etsy, it was taking up a lot of time. So each time I had to create a sort of digital product, it would take like 2 to 3 hours of my day.
Yeah. And how much
And
does that yield you, those 2 or 3 hours?
well, the yield's not that big, so you would make, I'd say like less than $10 per sale. So that
Mm.
it's more of a volume game as well. So like I'm up against people who had like 200 different products, and
Yeah. And
that
with
was
that game, it's kind of like,
yeah.
luck based, right? You kind of have to get one that goes kind of crazy big.
Sort of, yeah, yeah. So a lot of the times you get like discouraged since like you think like this product's gonna hit off and whatnot, and then it just doesn't, and then sometimes you get other products that do well. So yeah, it is kind of like luck, but yeah.
Why didn't Etsy or dropshipping get you where you really wanted to go?
So the biggest factor in I guess the Etsy why I stopped doing it was time, since I was doing like uni and then I had work and then I would get home and then I would have to do Etsy and like I pretty much lose all my time to have any freedom to myself. So I wouldn't have time to do things that I like gym, play sports, and eat, eating out, and then drop shipping. I couldn't really wrap my head around it, and I feel like I was just looking at the market and it just looked too hard to jump into it and it felt like too big of a risk to me.
Yeah. So you would say that Etsy didn't really align with the lifestyle that you wanted to live?
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much the biggest factor. And also that I also felt that the amount that it was generating wasn't worth the time I was spending. That was a very big factor too.
Right. And how does Airbnb differ from that?
So Airbnb at the start you put in a lot of effort, obviously, you've got to find a property and whatnot. And then afterwards it becomes pretty much passive. So nowadays I don't really do anything anymore. And everything is sort of self-managed.
Okay, awesome. And what attracted you ultimately to jump into the short-term rental space and our mentorship program?
Yeah, so I just finished, I guess, my internship and uni was finishing. So this was near the end of the year, around November. And then I was seeing Jordan's success and it looked like something that I sort of wanted to achieve and something that I was looking to aim towards. I saw his lifestyle and it was something that, sort of resonated with me and I was like, looks very interesting. So I decided to take the risk, and why not just jump into it?
And that's the type of student we are ideally targeting with our mentorship program. We're very selective with our students, and it's those that really take the action and are tolerant to risk
Yeah,
taking. Because at the end of the day, success only comes if you take risks.
yeah, that's
And
true.
if
And like,
you
I was also thinking like I'm still like young, I've got so much time on my hands, I got all this energy in me, so might as well spend it somewhere.
exactly, and growth only happens through experience. All you need to do is take the first step.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that.
Yeah. Okay, so you started working with us. Let's talk about the steps that you took after that. So, what was the first thing that we helped you in your business journey, and how did you find out?
So, firstly, you had a full structure of videos to complete. So, it was sort of like a step by step program on how this whole business runs and whatnot. So, an explanation. And then the first step you helped us with was just setting up our company, helping us, know what to sign up for, what we're paying for, our expenses. And then following that, we began, taking the first step actually into the business, which was looking for properties. So, you taught us how sort of to call these agents, real estate agents, and sort of how to discuss what, we're both looking for.
Yeah, in terms of helping you set up your business structure, we find that a lot of people that join the program haven't done business before at all, and
Yeah, I
they don't
was
know.
one of them too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They don't know the logistics behind things. And I know when I first started, I didn't have a business
Yeah.
before this. And there's a lot of little things that you need to worry about. And
Yeah,
we kind
yeah.
of try and help you take away the pressure of those small menial logistics
Yeah.
by, informing you on how business structures work, for example, in Australia. And yeah,
Yeah,
so
definitely would have struggled without you, won't lie. Definitely.
okay, let's talk about your first property. Well, how long did it actually take you to see progress right after joining the program?
Right. So, good question. So, I joined the program, I would say roughly around beginning of December, and I secured my first property mid-December. So, we were trying to get like push through so we can get through the Christmas period. So, I would say that was around a week's time span between those two.
Yeah, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
you had joined the program and
Yeah.
then watched all the videos in one day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then you started dialing the next day.
Yeah, definitely. I had so much time on my hands, so I was just like jumping right into it.
Yeah. And then how many inspections did you go to, like home openings did you go to before you landed your first deal, would you say?
So we were making roughly, I would say 20, 30 calls each day, just contacting a lot of these agents. And then we would try to fill out a whole day full of inspections. So we would do sort of like a 9 to 5, like fill out the whole day, try to fit in as many slots in as we could for our inspections.
Yeah.
That was-
That's great. And it's all about volume at the end of the day. And that's something we
Yeah.
preach a lot.
Definitely. To get our first property, it was, I would say, 2 weeks from signing up to the program. It was when we like fully locked in and got the keys and signed the contract.
That's great. And then you got 2 properties very fast after that, right?
Yeah, like right after the first keys, we were already, on our way, scheduling to get the next keys for the next property. And then following that, we did it again for the third property as well. So we were just going back to back to back.
Yeah, that's great. And did it pay off?
Definitely, definitely. In January, we already, pretty much were already making a profit in January.
What surprised you about the whole business model and working with us in general?
So right after we set up our first 3 properties, what really surprised me was the fact that we were getting bookings like instantaneously. So soon as we listed, we had the biggest, sort of worry and fear that, it wasn't going to do well. We weren't going to get any bookings. But first day in, we were already getting bookings. So for all 3 properties at that too. And then in terms of how well we were doing, we were already sort of making profits in, the first 3 months. So in January, we were seeing around like 11K, February 9K, and then March, back to like 11K, especially that F1 week, which was
Yeah, that the
crazy.
F1 weekend was
Yeah,
crazy for all of us.
definitely.
And people don't realize that this business model is, like you said, you see results fast. So as soon as you get your listing live, you get
Yeah,
bookings kind of immediately,
yeah,
especially if you have the right pricing systems in place,
yeah. That
which
was
we
very
hand you straight
yeah,
away on day one. So after collectively, going through years of experience, um, we've gathered, the best pricing strategies, and for your orphan days, for your last minute discounts, all of that is handed to you on day one, and so you're already seeing occupancy on day one. So
yeah. That was like, I think my biggest fear factor behind this, like thinking that since I'm paying rent every single day for this property, like if I don't get any bookings, I'm pretty much losing money. But once it was listed, I was already getting bookings, and it was such a big sigh of relief.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What was the most helpful part of the whole process of working together with us?
Definitely the bombardment of questions and answers we were throwing at you. Um, we really appreciate, how much effort and time, you gave us and answered all our questions, no matter how big or small. Just
No
really,
worries at all. And what would you say is the main difference between us and other competitors that you were looking at? Because you told me that you were looking into other
yeah, I
programs,
did.
right?
I did have like a little look. Like I saw this whole Airbnb thing previously, but with that, I was very skeptical since I wasn't seeing anything within Australia. So it was all in America.
Yeah.
So, watching your success was, I guess, the biggest factor in what helped me sort of go through with, this venture. Seeing someone in Melbourne be so successful. So, it made me realize that it's possible and whatnot, especially since we're so similar ages as well.
Yeah, for sure. And you can do this at any age, or not
Yeah.
maybe as an adult, because you need to actually rent.
Yeah, yeah, of course, obviously.
But y- but a lot of people can do this,
Yeah.
and it all it takes is the first step at the end of the day.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I could see myself doing this whilst working and uni, like on top of that as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone's on the fence, what would you tell them?
Oh, if someone was on the fence, so I would say, um, in my example, if you're young, similar situation to me, I would say take the risk. You know, in the back of my head, I was always thinking, what if? And, I decided to take that leap of faith, and it's definitely paid out. I always like to think, like a quote that really like sticks by me is someone said the best time to plant this tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is now.
That's a great quote.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Thank you for your time, Tan. I know you're a busy man now.
Actually, no, I actually got a lot of freedom now, if anything.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. But thank you very much for your time, and I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing your experience with us. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, we'll end it off here.